Right now, there's a good chance something sweet is sitting within arm's reach of you. Maybe it's a coffee with 2 sugars going cold on your desk. Maybe it's a candy bowl someone left in the break room that you keep just walking past. Or maybe it's your phone, one tap away from getting a donut delivered to your front door in 20 minutes, no effort required. And the second that sugar hits your tongue, something in your brain lights up like a switch got flipped. Here's the thing though, that switch isn't new. It's not some modern glitch, and it definitely isn't a personal weakness no matter what your last diet app told you. It's one of the oldest programs running in your body. Older than farming, older than cooking, older, honestly, than humans as we know them. So here's the real question. Why does something as simple as sugar have this much power over you? Let's go back. Way back. Like before humans existed back. The beginning? Before there were humans. At all. Before there were humans, there were primates swinging through trees with basically one job. Find calories and find them fast. And fruit was the jackpot. Ripe fruit meant sugar, and sugar meant quick energy you could actually use. Researchers studying primate vision have a theory that our ancestors evolved sharper color vision specifically to spot ripe, sugar-rich fruit against a wall of green leaves. Just sit with that for a second. Your ability to see the color red might exist because some ancient relative of yours really needed to find a berry. But fruit wasn't a guarantee. It was seasonal. It rotted fast. So any primate that could spot sugar instantly, crave it intensely, and eat as much as possible before it disappeared had a real advantage. The ones who shrugged at a ripe fig didn't pass on nearly as many genes as the ones who lost their minds over it, which means craving sugar isn't a flaw in your wiring. It's the wiring doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just running in a world that doesn't exist anymore. Fast forward, early humans and the honey obsession. Jump ahead a few million years to early Homo sapiens, and the sugar chase gets, honestly, kind of insane. Forget fruit for a second. Now we're talking about honey. There's cave art in Spain, at a site called Cuevas de la Araña, dated to roughly 8,000 years ago. That shows a human figure climbing a rope ladder up a sheer cliff face, surrounded by what are very clearly angry bees, reaching straight into a hive. Let that sink in. That's a person dangling off a rock wall, risking a swarm of stinging insects just to get to sugar. And this wasn't some one-off stunt. Anthropologists who study modern hunter-gatherer groups like the Hadza in Tanzania have found that honey can make up a huge chunk of their diet during certain seasons, sometimes rivaling meat in importance. The Hadza even team up with a wild bird called the honey guide, which literally leads humans to beehives in exchange for a cut of the leftover wax and larvae. A bird and a human working together because they both really want the sugar. That's not just impressive. That's basically a multi-species business partnership. Here's what makes this so important. Sugar wasn't a treat back then. It was one of the most calorie-dense, immediately usable things a human could find in the wild, worth risking bee stings, cliffs, and hours of effort to get. Your brain evolved to treat sugar like an emergency fuel source worth fighting for, because for most of human history, it kind of was one. The pivot, when sugar went from rare to everywhere. For almost all of human history, sugar was rare, seasonal, and hard-earned. And then, in the blink of an evolutionary eye, everything flipped. Sugarcane farming and later industrial refining meant sugar stopped being a rare jackpot and became something you could just buy in a bag for pocket change. By the 1800s, sugar had gone from a luxury good only the wealthy could afford to something sitting in nearly every kitchen cabinet on the planet. But here's the problem. Your brain never got that memo. The exact same reward system that once sent someone up a cliff toward a beehive is the same system going off when you spot a donut sitting under fluorescent grocery store lights. Your ancient brain is still treating every sweet thing like it might be the last easy calories you'll find for weeks. Except now, it's never the last one. It's just the next aisle over. How the brain actually does this. So what's actually happening in there? When sugar hits your tongue, it triggers a release of dopamine in the reward centers of your brain. And dopamine isn't really the pleasure chemical people assume it is. It's more like the go get more of that chemical. It's your brain flagging an experience as important and worth repeating. Brain imaging studies have found that sugar can light up some of the same reward pathways associated with certain addictive substances. Not identical, let's not overstate it, but overlapping enough that researchers take the comparison seriously. And that's not because sugar is some sinister modern villain, it's because your reward system is ancient, and it was built for a world of scarcity, not a world with a vending machine on every floor. Same circuit, wildly different environment. Honestly, that mismatch is basically the whole story right there. A wild detail, even babies are born loving it. Here's a detail that shows just how deep this actually runs. Newborn babies, within hours of being born, before anyone's ever taught them to like sweet things, show a clear preference for sugar water over plain water. Researchers have run this experiment over and over in different countries with different populations, and it holds up every time. That's not a learned habit. You can't nurture your way into that. That's hardwired straight out of the box. And biologically, it actually makes sense. Breast milk is naturally sweet, thanks to lactose. So a baby that's drawn toward sweetness is a baby that's drawn toward feeding. And feeding means survival. You didn't choose to love sugar any more than you chose to love oxygen. It got installed before you had any say in the matter. Why this still matters today. Here's what makes this bigger than just a fun fact for trivia night. Public health researchers point to exactly this mismatch, an ancient, scarcity-wired brain meeting a world of modern abundance, as one of the key drivers behind rising rates of diet-related illness around the world. It's not that people today have less willpower than their ancestors did. It's that their ancestors never had to use willpower against sugar in the first place because sugar was never sitting around in unlimited quantities. Your ancient ancestors climbed actual cliffs, dodged actual bee stings, for a fraction of the sugar sitting in one single soda can. Kind of puts the vending machine into perspective, doesn't it? So next time a craving hits out of nowhere, know what's actually going on underneath it. You're not weak. You're not undisciplined. You're thousands of generations deep into a system that still assumes, somewhere in the back of your brain, that this sugar might be the last sugar for a while. So here's the full picture. It started with primates evolving sharper color vision just to spot ripe fruit hiding in a wall of green jungle. Then early humans climbing cliffs and fighting off bees for a taste of honey, because back then, calories were never, ever guaranteed. Then, almost overnight in evolutionary terms, industrial sugar production flooded the entire world with the exact thing your brain was built to chase. Except now, it never runs out. Same wiring, same dopamine rush, same ancient sense of urgency, just a completely different world built around it. So the next time you reach for something sweet without even thinking about it, know what's really happening in that moment. That's not just you having a weak moment at 9 p.m. That's a few million years of primates, cave painters, honey hunters, and hungry babies, all wired into one single craving, still quietly running in the background of your very modern, very ordinary day. Kind of wild that something that old is still steering something as small as a coffee order or a candy bowl on someone's desk. If this whole idea of why humans are like this is as interesting to you as it is to me, there's a lot more of it coming.